Hi friends, Mindy here. I have a process video for you today. I'm going to be covering this Bible using the Pocket Journaling Bible Kit from Bythewell4God. This is the one that coordinates with the Overflowing Devotional Kit, but they do have other colorways available in the shop as well. They usually come out with one that coordinates kind of every month, and this month there's a couple different ones that I'll be doing. So I'm just laying out the fabrics. You get 2 full fabrics that will cover, and then you get some scrap fabrics to do other decorations with. So I'm just kind of looking through everything, trying to decide how I want to cover this. I'm going to be using this Cocoina glue stick, and that is a starch-based adhesive that works really well for this particular project. So I'm just taking this fabric. This is one that has like word definitions on it, and I love this fabric so much. And so this is going to be the main fabric that I'm using for my Bible, and I'm just making sure to kind of fit it on here before I do anything. I always do this first, otherwise I don't leave myself enough fabric. So this is just a way to make sure that when I go to cover it, I have enough that I can use. And I'm being a little bit more finicky this time with this particular piece of fabric because it does have those definitions, and I want to make sure that they're straight across. I don't want, them going uphill or anything. So just making sure that I'm holding that in place with those little clips. And then I'm going to use this other piece of fabric kind of as an accent that wraps around the spine. And I like for that to have like a raw edge. I just like the look of that. That's certainly personal preference. You could add lace or some other fabric, or do all kinds of different things. I've covered these in multiple ways. I'm just kind of keeping this one pretty simple. I have a lot happening in the month of November, so I'm trying to keep my projects pretty simple so that I can make sure that I get them all done. So I am starting on the back cover here. I covered it with the Cocoina glue, and then I'm going to go around, and now I'm going to work on the spine, and then I will do the back cover. It's very helpful to kind of do this in sections instead of trying to cover the whole thing all at once. So I always start at the back and work my way around to the front. I just get the best results for me personally that way. And then I'm just tucking it back around and holding it in place while I do the other pieces. So I'm going to add now this piece of fabric. This is one of the coordinating fabrics that came with it, and just trying to decide which way I want this to go. There's like one little like navy blue flower that I really want to be visible. So just trying to make sure I have that in place. And then I'm kind of holding that on the back side with my finger, and then adding glue, and then getting that in the front. You can see I got it wrinkled, so I'm going to have to kind of straighten that around. Just trying to get this in place where I want it. And I was trying to also make sure that I had the same amount of fabric on the front side as on the back side. So and then after I had already glued part of it down, I realized it was just a little bit too wide. So I went ahead and just did used my scissors here, and just kind of tore off those bits. And I'll save those little pieces of fabric and either use them on the cards or in something else. So, and I like the frayed edge, so I'm just leaving those little strings hanging on there, but you could certainly cut that off, or like I said, cover it with lace or whatever. So again, just going around in sections here, doing the spine, and then doing the other cover, adding the rest of this kind of accent fabric on there. And then I will move to working on the inside, and I need to do a little bit of prep work here. So I am going to cut out some like triangles down here at the beginning and the ending of the text block, both at the top and the bottom. And this is just going to help the fabric wrap around, so it's not so much fabric kind of fighting with the text block. And then I'm also trimming just a little bit of the fabric off the corners, so there's not quite so much bulk when I go to wrap the corners. So I'm going to start here again in the back, and I needed to kind of cut just a little bit more off. I could see it was going to be fighting with the text block. So I'm going to kind of work at the top and the bottom kind of at the same time. So I added a little bit of adhesive up here at the top and folded that down. and then I'm going to do the bottom, and then I'm going to work on kind of pleating this around the corner. So I added a little bit of glue to the fabric, and then I fold that over one time, and then add some more glue to the fabric and the whole side now, and then I will fold that around one more time, and that just kind of pleats it around that rounded corner of the Bible. So if you're wrapping something that has square corners, you can do kind of the miter fold on there, but with this I'm just kind of pleating it around. And then I added my little clips right there on the corners just to kind of hold everything down in place. And I will say one thing about this Cocoina glue is it's pretty sticky, and so I always kind of keep a baby wipe off to the side just to help, because I can never do this without getting it all over my fingers. So and it just gets sticky and hard to work with. So again, I'm just gonna do this now to the other cover. So I'm doing the top and the bottom, adding the glue again to the fabric. You can see folding that over one time. Then I'm gonna add more glue to the fabric and then down the side, and this glue stick is almost empty, so the little piece kept coming out. And I've noticed with these glue sticks, kind of the closer you get to the end, they kind of get a little bit stickier, which is weird, but it happens with my other glue sticks too. So I had to get out a new glue stick to finish this. But anyway, I'm going to do now these little pieces that are going to go into the spine. So I'm just using a paper clip, and I added a little bit of glue to the fabric, and I'm just tucking it down. It helps if you kind of fold the covers back on itself. It just opens up that little spine section a little bit more, and then you can tuck that fabric right down in there. It doesn't impede the use of the Bible or anything. It just kind of tucks it away. And then I'm going to add these clips to kind of hold this in place. And then I want to add a closure for this Bible. So I have this scrap fabric here that came with the kit. I'm just cutting off that raw edge. And then I'm taking this long piece and cutting it in half, and I'll put part of this for the cover, the front, and part of it in the back. You could use all kinds of things for this. You could use lace. I've used seam binding in the past. You could wrap this around the outside. I've done belly bands. I've covered a lot of these Bibles. I really like this particular project. It's just a lot of fun. And so I have quite a collection of these little mini Bibles, but I think that they would make such good gifts. And even as Christmas is approaching, I think they would make good stocking stuffers, whether you decorated them yourself or whether you gave them to somebody that, may be interested in Bible journaling. They're a good way because you don't have to worry about like decorating an entire page in a Bible, or if someone's just getting started, the little cards, they're all pre-cut. Everything's, measured to fit. You have stickers. It's just a very, easy project. There's not a lot of stress to it. And so I personally just really like these little Bible journaling kits. So what you saw me do there was just add the pieces of fabric. I just kind of lined them up on the inside covers there before I put these end papers on. And now I'm going to put these end papers that will help secure that fabric and then cover up all of these raw edges here. So I like to start with the loose paper part. I'm going to add a little piece of deli paper here so that I don't get glue all over the Bible page. But I add it on there, and I'm just going to line up this end paper piece so that it covers that whole page completely. And then I'll add some more glue on this other side here. And then when I go to tuck this in, I'm going to kind of open it up and kind of stick my fingers down in the fold and kind of tuck it down into the gutter just to make sure that it gets, all the way down in there. And then I'm going to go through and add my little clips back to the corners, and especially where that fabric is for the closure, just to hold everything in place while it's drying and while I'm working on the back side. I'm going to do the same exact thing here to the back side. And then this is what it looks like kind of when it's tied. I just did a little knot here on the edge. This Bible will grow as I add cards and stuff to it, so I didn't want to trim it down or anything. So anyway, that is how my little Bible looks. If you liked this video, I would appreciate it if you gave it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And until next time, bye.